In this video, we will be talking about how to properly store your food in a food service setting. How you store your food is essential because it affects the quality and longevity of your food products. We will be talking about different types of food storage, including fridge storage, freezer storage, and dry storage.
First, we will be talking about how to properly store food in the freezer. When it comes to storage, one of the most important rules is keeping food out of the temperature danger zone of 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. For freezers, keep the temperature at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Ensure that the temperature reads to accuracy within 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Ensuring foods in the freezer are at the right temperature will keep them frozen and allow for a longer shelf life. Tightly wrap your food to avoid a deterioration in quality and freezer burn. Tightly wrapping the food also prevents any food spills and avoids cross-contamination between the foods. When stocking a freezer, be sure to follow the rule of FIFO. FIFO stands for first in, first out. Ensure that your freezer is not overloaded and keep the storage space organized. A great way to keep your storage space organized is to label and date all of your products.
Next, we will talk about fridge storage. In a food service environment, make sure to clearly post fridge storage rules for all employees in the kitchen. It is important that the thermometer can clearly be read and stays within a range of 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. When accessing the fridge, make sure employees fully close the door when leaving the storage space and make sure it is properly sealed. This ensures that the temperature stays consistent within the 34 to 40 degree Fahrenheit range and keeps food out of the danger zone. Inside the fridge space, make sure the food on the bottom shelf is at least 6 inches from the ground to avoid contamination. Make sure there is enough air circulation around the storage space by not overloading the fridge space and keeping adequate space in between food products.
Similar to the freezer, when storing food, put products away in accordance to first in, first out, or FIFO. This ensures that all food products will be used in a timely manner and before the end of their shelf life. It can also be helpful to clearly label all food products as well as putting the date it was stored in the fridge and a use by date in a clearly readable area. Make sure food is tightly sealed and properly covered.
When storing food, make sure they are placed in the correct order on the shelves in accordance to their cooking temperatures. The top shelf should contain ready-to-eat foods. This includes prepared and cooked foods and prepped raw vegetables such as this salsa. The next shelf is seafood products. The third shelf includes whole-cut meats. The next shelf includes ground meat. And then the bottom shelf is poultry. If food happens to spill on the shelf, be sure to have an employee clean it right away. The shelf should be washed and sanitized, including anything in contact with the spill. If any other food product is contaminated by the spill, make sure to throw it away. Check any other shelves below the one with the spill to ensure it did not leak down to any other food products. In addition to shelves, make sure floors are clean of any spills. If a product happens to fall off a shelf onto the floor, clean up anything that may have spilled right away. This may cause food contamination in addition to being a hazard to employees by causing someone to slip and fall. Use a mop to wipe up any liquids on the floor. You can use a wet floor sign to warn employees of the spill to avoid potential hazards like falling and slipping. Lastly, we will talk about dry storage. Dry storage includes foods such as flours, oils, spices, cereals, grains, canned goods, baking supplies, and other packaged foods. As with all other food storage, keep your dry storage organized, cleaned, and labeled. Use airtight containers to extend shelf life and ensure all lids are tightly sealed. Also, make sure products are placed in a way that they cannot easily fall off the shelves. Food should be stored 6 inches from the ground, away from walls, and with at least a 2-foot ceiling clearance. Discard any cans that may be dented or swollen, as they may pose a health risk.
As with all other food storage, ensure products are stored in adherence to FIFO, first in, first out.
For bulk food items, make sure they are out of the way of traffic areas and secured with lids to ensure no contaminants can get in the food products. Also, make sure to store foods away from sources of heat and light to prevent decreasing the food's shelf life. Bulk food items are more susceptible to physical contamination from pests, so make sure to do routine checks to ensure the food service space is pest-free. It is also important to keep the containers holding the food products and the surrounding areas cleaned of any mess as much as possible. In addition, make sure all scoops or tools used for bulk storage are kept clean and sanitized regularly.
When putting prepared foods away, make sure the food is tightly wrapped in plastic film without any exposure to air. This helps preserve the quality and safety of the food for longer. You could also use tight-fitting lids for plastic and glass containers. Clear containers are best so you can easily see what product is inside. After finding the correct form of storage for the food product, make sure to label with the item name and date stored. If possible, determine a use-by date and add it to the label. Meat, fish, poultry, and dairy are specific ingredients that must be stored immediately, so make sure when receiving these items to place it in storage right away. If a product is nearing its expiration date, make sure to analyze the product for any signs of spoilage. Note that contaminated food may not look, smell, or taste bad, so when in doubt, throw it out.
Thank you for watching our video on proper food storage. We hope you implement these strategies in your kitchen.